Hi. So
Hi.
far, you are the only one today.
Okay.
So we'll see what happens, and maybe it'll just be you and me, and I could just answer questions you have.
Okay, well that'd be great because I've been busy with my coach, so it's been hard to get on.
Oh, yeah. Who did you get assigned as your coach?
Raphael's my coach and he's
Mm,
great.
Okay, good. I'm glad you like him.
Yeah, I do like him. Took me a while to warm up, but I do like him.
I haven't had a ton of people in his coaching class, so I don't know a whole lot about his style. I've had maybe two conversations with him, but I
Hmm.
don't really know him very well or his style.
Yeah, I do like him. He lives in Arizona as well.
I knew that, yeah.
Yeah, so he's somewhere in the valley too. So it took me a while to warm up to him, but I do like him.
Well, it's good. At least you got there, right?
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah. So, oh, Sam's on. Sam, are you there or is it just your box? Hmm. Well, if he logged in and he's not near his phone or whatever, he'll probably come on soon because he usually does. But why don't you fill me in a little bit on what do you think's going well? What can use some work? What do you need support with?
um I think it's just for me, I'm 2 months in now with the university.
Hmm.
I think it's just getting comfortable putting myself out there, learning how to work the systems. It took me a while to understand it. I had like an application. I pulled credit. That's as far as I've gotten, and I've sent out a few quotes here and there, but it's hard to learn unless you actually have something you're working
Yes.
on. And that's what I've learned. Like I can watch as much training videos, but once I actually get my hands on it, that's when I learn.
Yeah, it's like riding a bike, right?
Yeah.
You can read tons of books on how to ride a bike, but you're not really going to know how to ride the bike till you're sitting on it.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I've learned a lot so far.
Awesome. So,
Yes.
Sam, I see it looks like you're on twice. So, do do we need the other one or should we get the other one out?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I am having major technical issues right now. Bear with me
Okay.
one moment. I'm trying to
Yeah, I
get
was
rid
kind
of.
of wondering because earlier when you popped on the screen, I was like, are you actually there?
Give me a moment. I'm working it out.
Well, do you want me to just remove the other box?
Yeah, please, if you don't mind.
Oh, it's already gone. You did it.
All right.
Okay, take a deep breath. It's all going to be okay.
God, I hate technology.
You look stressed out.
Can we do loans without technology, please?
No, only if you could go back in time like 20 years.
Listen, back in the days, life was a lot easier.
Well, if you have a time machine, go take it. I'll stay in today, though.
You're
I
so
don't want
weird.
to relive any years.
You're so weird.
Well, have you met Lydia yet? I don't think so.
I don't believe so. No.
Okay, so Lydia's new to the industry. She just got licensed like a few months ago. She's
Mhm.
also here in the Phoenix area. So Lydia, Sam is in Scottsdale, right? Sam,
Hi.
Scottsdale?
Hi, Lydia. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you. I live in Queen Creek, so far east.
I was just there yesterday, actually.
Nice. And
She's
she's a part of Ardra's downline.
I'm
Yes.
sorry. Sorry about that.
So Sam likes to joke like,
My internet went out and I didn't hear it.
I
Sorry.
said,
okay,
I didn't hear it like if I didn't hear what he said.
I said, I'm sorry that you're part of her team.
Oh.
but he's kidding.
But do me a favor, do not tell her that.
I won't tell her that.
I know he's kidding, so you have to understand his sense of humor because it came
Yeah.
out sounding almost serious.
Well, it's funny because right when before he said it, my internet cut out and I didn't hear. And then I heard you just say he was kidding.
Yeah, and then the look on your face when your internet cut out was kind of like you didn't know
My
what to do with that.
No, it
my
broke.
power reaches very far.
And Sam, remember these are recorded.
Oh my God, I'm screwed either way.
Like, remember, I have sent recordings in the past to people who could not log on. All right. Well, I want to get into it. So, Lydia, with your training in the university, have you taken any of the classes on business development and on forming like partnerships, maybe with realtors or other referral partners to get referrals?
The BDM classes? Is that what they are?
Well, that's different. However, they probably have some similar processes to get the referrals to give you referrals. But
Um,
what we talk about here is more about building and developing your own relationships. So the BDM goes out and builds their relationships and then attempts to connect you to their referrals, right?
okay.
And
Yeah.
then you have to build your relationship with those people once they give them to you. But this is more like you connecting with the realtors on your own, you connecting maybe with financial planners or divorce attorneys or CPAs or whatever else you could think of that may be a good industry that can come upon referrals to pass along your way. That is what we
Okay.
focus on in this hour. So
Okay.
we started out in the very beginning talking about what are those industries that speak of the devil. Arja, if you're actually there and can hear us, we were just talking about you.
All right, I gotta go now.
Bye. What'd you guys say? I want to know.
I said you were an amazing, wonderful person.
I bet. That sounds like I see your nose is growing there.
Yeah. And Lydia's starting to get to know some of Sam's humor.
Oh, you mean
So,
Pinocchio? I'm just joking.
so Lydia, we started with talking about what industries are good to go know to turn into referral partnerships. Then we talked about what makes a good referral partner, what would make you a good referral partner, and we talked about how to use social media to deepen relationships, to go from online to offline, or to go from in person to getting deeper of getting to know someone, connecting with them after you meet them. Um, so I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. Here we go. Um, we talked about after you meet people in person, great ways to stay connected and follow up. We talked a little bit about being a card collector versus a card giver, where to go meet people, how to network, where to find people that will send you referrals, how to talk to them when you're with them, how to figure out what's important to them so you could speak to them in their language. We talked about the needs, which is an acronym of how to make conversations easy, flowing, not awkward, things that you can ask, in person at networking events and when you get one-on-one with them, and then how to follow up, how to stay in front of them. 8 touches within the first 2 weeks so that they don't forget you, they remember you, you stay top of mind. Um, I kind of already mentioned this. We talked about how to use social media to, stay connected. I'm going to make this bigger on the screen. And then we got into co-branding, which is where we're in the middle of now. We talked about flyers, we talked about Canva and Instagram, and actually today, I believe I'm waiting on an Eventbrite page to be created. However, we talked about doing a class locally here in Phoenix. And so, Lydia, have you been getting my emails on local events where you could go and network and meet with people?
Yes, I have been.
Okay, good. So this is going to come out to the local people, hopefully by the end of the day, June 9th, a class where I'm going to go deeper into how to use Canva to create some of these co-branded things, flyers, postcards, open house flyers, listing flyers, mailers, etc. We talked about using Canva to make social media graphics. Last week, we got into a little bit of Brand 360, which is a gift to you from UWM, which has tons and tons and tons of graphics that you can use that connects with your Canva account. And it is a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful tool. And they give you the paid for version for free. Um, and then we talked a little bit about taking some of those printed flyers and what you could do with them. We did not really get into door knocking. That was kind of the next thing on the list. But you guys, I've done a lot of door knocking with realtors. And the door knocking itself didn't always bring me direct business. However, the realtor I door knocked with did. So in the door knocking, I built the relationship with the realtor. I have gone out with multiple realtors that were either afraid to do it themselves, they wanted to start farming their neighborhood. We door knocked in their neighborhood. I've done 4th of July very often and other type patriotic holidays where in the door knocking we gifted like a little tiny flag, and on the flag we had a tag tied to it that had our contact info and like maybe said something cute or whatever. I've done Halloween pumpkin holidays, or I mean pumpkin giveaways, like the little tiny gourd ones, lots of different holidays you can give away very inexpensive stuff that you can get at what used to be the actual dollar store. The dollar store is no longer a dollar, but if you pre-plan ahead, you can buy things on Amazon, or you can still go to the dollar store and pay maybe $1.50 or $2 now. I used to pick up a lot of things at Dollar Tree. Springtime, very often in places tend to bring winds. You could get the little spinny wind thing. Summer, you could get like wiffle ball kits with the bat and the ball at the dollar store. Different things where you could come up with little cute tags that can remind people to work with you. So, I gave flashlights at the last mortgage thing I did, little inexpensive, pressy, like flashlights, and it said, let me light your way to a bigger, better career. And I had my contact info on it, right? So if you could, you don't even have to think about it. Like use AI, go to Google, there's websites. Brian Buffini teaches some of this and he calls it pop buys, but his is more pop by past clients' houses or pop by people on, your potential prospect list houses or your referral partners' houses and give them these gifts. But I've done the same pop by idea, like knocking on doors in a neighborhood or bringing things to an event. Like in August In July, I'm going to Vegas for the Forward event in July and August, Originator Connect. I will probably bring my flashlights there too. So when you go to different events with realtors or whatever, spring is also a season for planting. People will give you could get seeds very inexpensive in the in those little packets, and you could have some kind of quote of, planting the seed of your future home ownership or whatever. And then you have your contact info on that tag, or you punch a hole in your business card, you tie the tag with your business card. And if you're doing it with a realtor, you make one side of the tag you, one side of the tag the realtor, or you make it big enough to put you both on it, right? And again, you can create that yourself in Canva, or very often title companies will print it for you if you're in Arizona. Neil, unfortunately, title companies in California, at least for a while, I don't know if they went back to doing it, but back in the day, they were one of the first that had like respite enforcement and they stopped doing things like that. But you can, share the costs or whatever. If you want help with it, again, as long as you don't abuse the privilege, you can ask me for help in making something. I can make something for you. You just have to ask and reach out. Any questions on that? Any ideas that anybody wants to share or talk about, tags, say cute tag sayings you've seen with gifts or anything anybody wants to bring up?
They used to do those Popeyes a lot. Popeyes.
That's what I'm
We used to
talking
go to real
about.
estate. I know I'm listening, but I just don't even do those anymore. I don't even go to houses anymore. It's a really good idea. You know what I think? I think that we got so caught up in technology that the real human to human connection, people are so craving that. You might actually do good going door to door and hanging out door flyers today, right? Have you done it very recently?
No, the last time I probably really did it was back in 2022, I guess. But you have to remember, I'm focused more on recruiting and developing the recruits I bring in. I,
Right.
I probably stopped doing it when I stopped focusing on bringing in loans myself. I was doing it in my neighborhood. I was doing it with a realtor in my neighborhood, her neighborhood. The last one I did, she was coming to my neighborhood and I was going to her neighborhood once a month. And we did a tag with a gift every single month. Um, I got to know a lot of my neighbors that way, which was really good. And
Mhm.
actually, I did an open house in Gilbert. So Neil, Gilbert is like 30 minutes from where I live. And I was sitting in open house with a realtor, and a guy actually came into that open house and he started talking about where he lived. And I was like, wait, we might be neighbors, like kind of the same cross streets. But I didn't
Mhm.
even think real neighbor. Like I thought, okay, same area. And he took a second and he said, oh my God, you're the gift lady. And I started laughing and I was like, what? And he didn't really open his door, but he's like, you're the one who leaves a gift at my door every month. He lived in my neighborhood and he recognized my face from the tag. And then we started working together, and he actually worked with the realtor whose open house he walked in versus the realtor I was dropping the Popeyes off with. But he recognized me and my face from the Popeye tags. So
Mm,
that was kind of wild. And
yeah.
yeah, it was fun when he said that. I was like, no way, you really are my neighbor. Because I have like a circle that I would walk in my neighborhood that had like 50 houses, and he happened to be one of the 50.
Wow.
So yeah. Okay. Other things that you could do to co-brand. Share websites. We touched on this a little bit last week. A lot of realtors will put preferred vendors on their website. as a loan originator, you're not probably going to put realtors on your website. However, you can talk to realtors about being on their website. You can pay for the amount of space you take up on the website for whatever their monthly fee is to manage or host it. And if you're on their website, you can have it be a link that takes them to you, to your application, to your social media. You could put multiple links on whatever works. And that's a great place to co-brand. You can do videos together. And if you're posting those videos to YouTube, what I recommend is like where the very end of the video brands you. And you could even do that in Canva. So you can film your video, upload it to Canva, make a second screen, and your second screen is your branding or your co-branding. The video gets to the end, it goes to that screen. It's got all your branding. People can pause, get your contact info off of there, or if you put your QR code, they can pause it, press down on the QR code, go to your website, your application link, whatever you want your QR code to go to. And then we've also talked about live stream, and Ardra, you weren't on last week, but I did use you as an example on how you live stream with other people. And the social media apps love, love, love collaborations. So it really boosts up your algorithm. So if you have somebody else on a live stream with you and you put it as a collaboration, it's going to help both of your algorithms big time. And that is pretty much where we ended last week. Does anyone have any questions on anything I've yet talked about or want to bring up or discuss anything specific on co-branding? Otherwise, I can just keep going it with number 5. All right. Neil, you're being awfully quiet. Good morning. You're the only one that hasn't said anything since you logged in.
Because you've been talking the whole time.
Well, now I'm stopping to say good morning to you.
Well, good morning.
How are you?
I'm better. I was really sick for about a week, so
Oh,
my voice, I'm finally not coughing after every third word.
well, I'm glad you're better.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I'm very familiar with co-branding. I've tried it in the past. Again, my problem is that I don't have a lot of realtors that'll work with me. Most of the realtors that I meet are established, especially at the broker previews, and the young ones are. Um, I don't have the time to. Well, the idea was to go for the young ones that maybe doing three, two, three, four houses a year. After I screen them, in hopes that they'll become better, but that never worked out. So
So
I don't
why
have
would
a.
you not want to go after an established realtor?
It's
Because
not
if
that
they're
I don't go after them. I don't get anywhere with them. I'm working with three guys. I'm already doing stuff. Yeah,
so
yeah.
that's
I know.
great. Get to know them personally.
Well, yeah, I do. I mean, I know a few of them, but I haven't been doing the broker previews in the
I
last
I
year.
would I would start it with build a friendship, build a relationship, build the trust, and then ask for the business. Because those three guys, it's only typically a matter of when or until. And something's going to happen. They're going to either break trust in the relationship, or they're not going to follow up, or something's going to get screwed up,
Or they
or
get out of the
they're
industry.
not a broker and they can't do the loans we could do. And you're going to have a foot in the door because you built a relationship. Like I often say, I have no problem being the best number two until the time is right for me to be number one. So even if they have three and you want to be number four, you could eventually be number three, which also means
Yeah,
be number one.
I've used that also. Just put me on your bench, and if the other guys that you're using first can't do it, I'm here to help and see if I can pull it off. I mean,
However, then it can't end there. right? We got to go back to those 8 touches. There's got to be text messages and private messages on social media and liking their content and getting to know them personally and building the friendship. Because if you say, put me on your bench, then it's kind of in most people's minds, it's a done deal. You're sitting, and if you're not doing what it takes to stay in front of them, they're going to forget you. You need to be using your CRM, sending a newsletter, or creating co-branded flyers or materials, whether they ask for it or not, and sending it and saying, hey, I took the liberty of creating this for you, thought you might want to use it. Or watch when they get a listing and make a co-branded flyer for their listing without them asking and say, hey, I thought this might be good for you to leave in your listing because the other people are probably not doing it unless they maybe ask, and you're going to keep inching yourself up. If it's like, hey, I'll just warm your bench, you're going to be forgotten about. So I want to then say is, what are the 8 to 10 things you're going to do after you say you'll warm the bench to get your butt up off the bench to prove that you should be in the field?
Can I say something? If you kind of think about like a game, like you're a basketball player. I mean, I was a volleyball player. And I was always striving to be varsity first string. I just wanted to play. I wanted to be on the court all the time. That my passion was so strong that sitting on the bench was never an option. I mean, I may be on the bench, but I would sit there and watch the game, and I would be sitting on the edge of my bench, like, God, I want to play. So when I went and practiced, I practiced so hard so the coach would see my effort and I would get notice and I would get playtime. But the same thing is with our industry when it comes to sales. It's the same game. And as I'm listening to you, Alicia, on all this, it's almost like dating, you know? It's like you have to pay constant attention to these things if you really want to acquire that relationship. So
Yes.
if you're like a lazy dater, of course you're not going to get nowhere. So how are you engaging in this? Because you know
Well, I backed off on pre-COVID because I wasn't getting enough business from realtors. I would still send out ticklers and emails and stuff to the ones that I was familiar with. I was going to broker previews. I was walking around, going to 4 or 5 open houses right after the broker preview. Say hi, here I am. Here's my stuff. Check in with them every week at the broker previews. And I never took them out for coffee or a drink or gave them concert tickets. But I just found that my niche was always referrals from people and refinancing because I've been in the business over 20 years. So my data, what I have left in my database, still produces me 10 to 12 loans a month. I mean, a year.
I was
I
like,
wish it
wow,
was.
you
I
got
wish it
busy
was a month.
quick.
But most of them are you know three, four to seven, $800,000 loans. So I only need to do that to make what I'm looking for. I'm not looking to make $1 million. If I can make 10 grand a month, I'm very happy. 8 to 10 grand a month is happy. Um, and I just don't find that the realtors are the ones that are feeding me anything. I got realtor friends that
Okay, so I want to stop you because
uh
you said 2 things that I want to touch on. The very last one, you said, I don't feel the realtors are feeding me. I look at working with realtors as a partnership that we are building and growing the business together. We are finding the referrals together. We are finding the next clients together. That's why it's co-branding.
I know
Because
exactly. I know exactly.
hold on. They're not here to feed me, and I'm not here to feed them. Keyword partnership and equals. So
I,
hold on, and let me go to the second thing, and then you could talk. The other thing you said earlier was you were showing up at open houses and events and whatever and saying, here's my stuff. I
yeah,
would show up and say, how are things going for you?
of course, that's
What's
what you do.
happening in your world? what can we do to support each other versus just here's my stuff, here's my flyer, here's my
Obviously,
cards.
I don't just go in there and plop stuff on the table.
That's what you said,
Well,
though.
that's my casual lingo. You basically you go in, hey, who are you? I'm here. This is the area I'm working. This is where you do the 3 minute date information, and then I go into, hey, I know you're established. I've seen, I've done some research on you. You've done X amount, and that's a great thing. And you got a team. I'd like to know if there any way I can get into the team. Here's some information about me. I got
Okay, but I'm gonna pause again. Like you're going for the jugular if you're walking into an open house saying, "Is there any way I could get in with your team?"
no,
Like
but I'm also
I'm
saying
saying,
yeah, I'm cutting you off here. I'm also saying I've done hot dog stands. I've done popcorn. I got banners for them to put out in front of their houses. I spent Saturdays and Sundays at these open houses. I never got any business from any of it.
Mm.
Now, that could just be my luck.
or
Um,
it could be how you're setting it up ahead of time. So
Mm.
in
Did you get a list of all the people that came to the open house?
yeah, you get
Okay.
like 8 to 10 names. 7 of them are fake, bad
okay,
phone
hang
numbers,
on.
bad email addresses, and then the
So
other
in my
three can't
book,
qualify.
hang on, in my book, Love Your Business, Love Your Life, I have a story that I have shared, actually, I think two of them, about doing a lot of things up front and learning that I wasn't asking for the business. And I had one guy that I swear to God, I became his part-time assistant for free and never got any business. And what I learned from that is setting up expectations up front. So before you did the hot dog stand, popcorn, whatever, was there a conversation of, I am looking for partnership? Are you also? And this is something I am willing to do in part of the partnership. However, my expectation is that we share in business as we go forward if I put this effort up front into our good faith of our partnership. Not, it doesn't have to be those exact words. However, was there, and if there's not, and you don't have to say yes or no or whatever, it's up to you. I don't care. But if I were to do what you're talking about doing all over again, or what you're talking about you did, I would be very, very clear up front that our expectation is X, Y, and Z. I do this, you do that. We work together with clients going forward.
So the other thing with open houses, I mean, every open house I've done, and I've been lending to like 22 years, I think, yeah. And I would say I've never really gotten any lead from open houses, but I think what's really great about open houses is you have your agent's captive attention the whole time.
Mhm.
You have the ability to talk
It's
about
about
loan
building the
programs,
relationship.
talk
Yep.
about some of their deals that fell through to see if you might
Mhm.
be able to salvage it, and just being a
Well,
really
of
great
course.
support. I mean, I think if you're going to open house with the idea of getting business, that right there is going to be your downfall because it's going to be disappointing every single time.
Yeah, it
Right.
was.
So
But
I
I'm a very social person, and I do talk to I may come off like I just say here's my stuff and go, but no, I actually have conversations. I learn about their families. I learn about stuff, and I'm trying to be social and friendly, but I also have to throw in the business aspect. I'm not here, to stand around and get you to sell this. I'm here to work with you that we can both make money on this deal somehow, or somehow in the future, if you meet somebody who's not pre-approved before they come in the door, that you might put me on your list of people to have them go and look at, and always
Okay,
tell them
so
look at more than
hang
one
on, I gotta
person.
stop you again.
Hmm.
Because again, I want you to think about not your the mindset and the words coming out of your mouth, because words have meaning, and people hear your words and make a perception about you.
Mhm.
And if I were the realtor and I hear you might put me on your list, or you might think about putting me on your list, I'm not going to do it because I'm hearing a lack of confidence. If you say, if somebody walks in the door, will you do a group text to connect me, or will you introduce me? That is very direct, very to the point, and shows
It,
confidence.
it is
And then
better,
I
yeah.
get to say yes or no. But put me on your list, to me, is wishy-washy. And I am a very black and white person. And I hear the words, and the words will either get me to take action or get, and we're all human, whether people are black and white like me or what or not. Humans judge. And we are judging in
Constant. I
2 minutes or less if we want to work with you. And most people want to work with somebody who seems confident and powerful. And your words can impact that.
Yeah, you're right.
Neil, if I can just jump in, the one thing that I would say that I learned from the financial world, being in banking, is you know more than they do,
Yes.
and you're always busy. Don't beg for their business. If they want you, great. If they don't, move on. Make it look like you're always busy. And I'm going to give you a perfect example. This just happened to me yesterday. I was speaking to a realtor, was trying to gain their business, and the realtor had seven uh, loan officers that he uses. And I said, I would love to be one of your top one or two. He says, no, I can probably put you down, at number eight. If the other ones seven don't work out, I can give you a call. I said, no, that's okay. I'm too busy to be number eight on anybody's list. I'm either one or two, or I'm not going to bother to waste my time. If you want somebody to close loans, I'm here. I'm available. I would love to earn your business, but to be number eight or number nine on anybody's list, I'm too busy for that. That's what I got a call from him today. He wants to know if I would
Nice.
help a client. I said I'll do my very best.
I love it. And that's confidence, right?
Yep.
So, yeah, I love it. That's awesome. So, so Neil, just something to think about. I mean, if you don't want to work with realtors, you don't want to work with realtors. You don't have to work with realtors. I mean, we all are going to build business in whatever way, shape, or form works best for us. However, if you are going to go to realtor events, I would not poo-poo established realtors. And that's how this started, because you had said something about going to the home tours and not talking to the established realtors. So it's up to you if realtors will or will not be your gig. No right or wrong there. As long as you're getting business from somewhere, who cares how you get it and where you get it from? However, realtors happen to be my specialty. So, when you stepped into that realm, you stepped into where I know I excel. And most of my friends over the last 15 years have been either loan originators or realtors, right? And that's because I build the relationship first. I go in for business second. It takes me a little longer. However, I establish um, loyalty and friendship, because people will quit on a loan originator. They won't quit on a friend, right? So it may take me longer. However, I get the business and I get the relationship and I get the loyalty. And I know Ardra took herself off for a minute, but when she comes back, like my experience of her also is she specializes also in building with realtors. Now she's been growing and growing and growing on social media, and that may be shifting. However, for years, we knew each other because we both worked in the realm of the realtors. Audra, I don't know if you heard, but us.
Yeah, a little bit. And we did a parade together. That was probably the biggest building thing we ever did together. I mean,
It was so
we
much
we
fun.
built this big old float for this Native American parade, and it was a gigantic, and we weren't getting it done, and then it started raining and it wasn't drying, and then we drove it to the parade and it started falling apart, and we're trying to keep it together. And we won first place. I don't know how
Giving out candy and it was so much fun. And we did that with a realtor
we
and
lots of
your family. And,
uh
and at the time, Neil, I was in title. I was a title rep. So I wanted Ardra's business as a loan originator, or was I at the real estate book?
No, you were a title rep.
Okay, yeah. So I wanted her business so that she would use my escrow officer. I wanted the realtor's business. So at that time, I mean, her daughter, who now is like working with her and helping with social media, and a grown woman, was a little girl at the time. So I
Mhm.
got to know her family by participating in something that was important to her and her family, which established the relationship, which then established business, right?
Yeah.
So that's where I'm saying relationships are always going to come first. And because I got to know her family to this day, like, I mean, I had a Christmas party and two of her kids showed up, right? So they know me, I know them. And like, it's not just business, it's a caring relationship, family to family.
Yeah, it's a different way of doing business when you have friendship with your real estate agents. Lydia thankfully has been coming for a couple months to my Native American real estate circle. And, sometimes that's really hard because I'm really trying to foster a community. And what's hard about that is there are real estate agents in that group that don't give me leads, even though they come and they participate and everything. And so I kind of look at it. I'm not going to say the word, but they're takers. They're not givers, and they're not collaborators. So you notice things about people. Some people just take, some people just give, and some people like to collaborate. And I'm really seeking out collaborators because I don't like to be the person always pioneering every event or pioneering every aspect of everything. I want people to join me and kind of like help me,
Mhm.
whether it's more creativity. So I've been doing the Native American real estate circle now going on a year and a half, 2 years consistently. And I'll be honest, this is a breakthrough. All last year, the main guy, he's a pretty good producer and he's really great at what he does, but he stopped coming to my meetings because he's a father and he drives quite a bit, so he can't come to my meetings consistently. And that's someone I really want there. Well, he came a couple times so far this year, and guess what? In the last month, I got 4 referrals from him. And I
Nice.
showed him exactly how to give me referrals. And I think that's where a lot of agents have a hard time is in a proper handoff. And I try to tell them why it's so important. It really just pushes professionalism and that we do communicate as a lender and a realtor. And so a lot of my realtors will just text me a lead and here, call so and so. And that's like the worst kind of referral you could ever get because it's really a cold call, you know?
For you, though,
For me,
remember,
there's no edification in
yeah.
there. They don't, I'm still a stranger. So the professional handoff is lacking. And it's where I'm trying to train my real estate agents to do it a little differently. Well, you know what? This guy did that, and I got this like email, and it was like loan application. You get your email notifications, loan application submitted, credit report pulled, documents uploaded. I'm like, oh my God, this is like a present. This is like perfect. Then I got another one like that and another one like that. And I'm
Nice.
just like, and he loves how easy and seamless it is when he can do it the correct way up front. So I had to wait a year before I even got this guy to
Yeah.
even start giving me leads. And so I feel you, Neil. Like I really, really, really started thinking in December, should I just let this go? Is this really the value of my time? Is it really giving me a return? Da 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 da. And I just have to say, this is a long term plan. It's not something that's going to give me something really quickly. and it is coming, but I am segging myself in different aspects because that's not my only pot of gold.
Yeah.
I have
Right.
several that I'm working
Right. So very often, especially with established people, it's usually a if not now, when, right? It's just a matter of time, very, very often. And so
on.
that's and Ardra, I think you were on when, I don't know, about a month ago or so, we did talk about teach your people how to refer you. So
Mhm.
that's awesome. And we also have to remember what works for how we want to be referred might not be how that realtor wants to be referred.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
always ask people what works for you, and then you can share what works for yourself, right? So
Yeah.
that you get the referrals how you want, but they also can get referrals how they want. Because we're just like I said to Neil, we might not all get our business from realtors, and that's okay. We might not
Mhm.
all get our referrals the same way, and that's okay. Because I think also
Mhm.
on the Zoom, when we talked about how to do it, I said I love group text, but
Mhm.
somebody else was on that day and they did not want a group text.
Yeah. Yeah.
They
I
wanted a
love group
group
text.
email.
Hey, Neil, another thing that came to my mind, you said you work really well with your past clients, and I think that's probably your pot of gold because they already have the experience working with you. Maybe
Yeah.
just calling them back and say, "Hey, listen, I was wondering if I just wanted to check in on you, and be really kind of nice about just checking
Yeah,
in and say, do you
of
know
course.
anybody out there?" I mean,
Of
that
course.
might be your biggest.
It is my biggest hotspot. Kind of like you have the Native American niche.
Hmm.
I have a LA Jewish niche that I grew up in.
There you
So,
go.
so I get most of the business I get right now is from uh, my Jewish friends and investors. Um, but um, outside of that, and I've been in Orange County moved here in '04, 22 years. It's a different mentality than Los Angeles. They're very the joke was when I moved down here that I had to buy a BMW and grow a mustache and wear Bass loafers. It's still like that here. Orange County is very cliquey. I don't fit into the
So make your
bourgeois,
own click. Yeah.
yeah. And the
Hmm.
group that I have met over the years, mostly through the temple, little leagues, my kids' parents and stuff like that, um, was how I accumulated business because I came in, I was really just a lone guy doing self-employed individuals. That was my niche. And I would go to all the chamber events. Well, now the chamber events are not that very good. They're not very good. The ones that I had been to before COVID, when I stopped going, were very clicky. It was hard to break into the cliques. It was like a BNI group. If they like you, they like you, and they'll do stuff. If they don't, it's very difficult to meet them. Um, so I'm trying to restart a career because after COVID and rates shooting up, I kind of drifted off, and now I'm trying to pick up again. Uh, but I don't know if I have the energy to go chasing people and doing all the things that the jogger Alicia likes to do with all that energy that she has. And and I'm really just looking for uh, like CPAs, estate attorneys, stuff like that that will refer to me as opposed to dealing with realtors and
So
knocking
I
on
have a great
doors.
idea, Neil, because I try to look at a lot of the AEs that kind of meet with us and talk with us, call us, email us, and some of them they just kind of get like lost in the email, but some of them stick out, and it's the effort that the AEs make it on the other side. So these CPAs that you're talking about, I almost feel like you might have to pull up all the CPAs and just stop by and just constantly be consistent introducing yourself,
Sure.
dropping off a little bit of information like, hey, I thought maybe this might help one of your clients. call me if you have any questions and leave it really short and sweet. But I think the good thing is consistency. Like
And go
every
to their association
Yeah, and
events.
go.
They have lunch and learns just like realtors do. They have association meetings just like realtors do.
And
Become a
yeah,
member of their association and attend their association events.
yeah. And then on
Right.
top of that, it's just being consistent. I think that's the key. Always
And that,
showing up, because what happens is you become top of mind.
Okay, so I'm gonna pause because we only have 10 more minutes and we're
Okay.
going back to networking.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
that was a month ago.
All right.
And now we're
Co-branding.
on co-branding, but anything we're talking about co-branding doesn't have to be realtors.
Yeah.
You can co-brand you and a CPA. You
Mhm.
and your CPA can create a newsletter that the CPA can email to their database and you can email to your database. You and your CPA can put out a monthly finance tip. And you put your branding, one on the top, one on the bottom, the tip in the middle, or tip on top, you both on the bottom, or vice versa, right?
Mhm.
So where I talked about online leads and buying zip codes together, probably CPAs don't do stuff like that, but CPAs may buy social media ads, may do Google pay per click, and you could do those together. Anything you could do with a realtor, Neil, you can do with the CPA. So,
Mhm.
co-branding does not have to be realtor. It just means you and a partner
So,
that
Alicia, I have an example. Aaliyah, my daughter, she's a fashion model into the movie industry, and I will bring her on my TikTok live. And we will talk about other real estate. Like, she kind of is really good at coming with taglines that young people in their generation kind of tag different types of homes or lifestyles. And so she'll bring that in because I'm so clueless about that. But she'll come in, and my goal with her bringing her in is I'm really trying to expose real estate purchases to her, like age group of friends, the people that follow her on her TikTok. Sometimes I might bring on another lender like Maria. Maria's got her own followers. She does a whole bunch of DSCRs and I-10 loans. She's Hispanic. We have two different markets, and we will get on TikTok live and we'll talk about mortgages and real estate and credit, or just talk about the Run Club or some fun places that we got to go out and have fun. I think a lot of women like to engage with us just because we like to have fun. So sometimes the amount of content real estate related is probably 10% in the whole hour, but we're actually just engaging with the audience. So those are like some really great ways today in our world to connect with people that you would never meet anywhere else.
Okay, let's get back to the co-branding. So you could be branding online, you could be branding your website, back again, other printed materials. I don't know why I have door knocking twice in this presentation, but I do. Nextdoor.com goes with door knocking because not only is it a social media platform, but you can look at a map of who is on it and who is not in your neighborhood. You can intentionally door knock neighbors that are not on it and ask them to join you on it, or vice versa, door knock neighbors that are on it and say, hey, I'm in your neighborhood. I'm also on Nextdoor. I could see you're on Nextdoor. And again, you could do that with items of value, and it doesn't matter if it's a realtor or a CPA, you could show up with little trinkets, you can show up with your newsletter with tips and tricks, whatever. And then the last thing on this page is community or charity events. So, like even community event, I mean, Ardra mentioned Run Club. Like you can do things with clubs. You can, have tables at vendor events. You could go to farmers markets. You can go to schools. You could do things with a PTA even if you don't have kids. It doesn't matter. You could go in and say, we want to give education to the parents that's going to help the children in the school, right? And they're going to usually, very often, they will let you, even if you don't have kids, if you're there for education, not sales. There's city events, there's holiday celebration events. You could create your own community event. One of my good realtor friends built a huge real estate business doing community events at a local park. She went around to other businesses in the neighborhood, got them all to be willing to set up vendor tables, and then did an event, door knock to invite people in the community to come to the event. I actually, the first one of those I ever did was with an insurance agent. And he did a bike parade, two different holidays I did with him. One was for Easter, think the other was 4th of July. And he organized a bike parade just in his neighborhood, in the park down the street, got all the parents to get their kids to bicycle from their houses to the park. When they got to the park, they rode in a line around the park together. We had somebody dressed up as the Easter Bunny. For 4th of July, we gave out sparklers. When they got back with their bikes, they did the sparklers. For the Easter one, we did an Easter egg hunt, and we got multiple businesses in the neighborhood. Found mostly mom pop type businesses in the neighborhood. And we had one, actually, Archer, you came with me to NAPMW where we have it at now I can't think of what's the name
That
of the place
restaurant. Are
with
you
the
talking about
meatballs. The
the?
first time I ever had their meatballs, they were at this Easter parade thing. And
Okay.
that's how I learned this restaurant has amazing meatballs because they were there giving out samples of meatballs. What is the name of that place?
Oh gosh, how funny. Oh, hey Leah, what's that Italian place we go to for Babos?
Babos, that's it. So even though they're a chain, they were willing to show up and give out free meatballs. And so then I started going to Babos because I got their meatballs at this Easter event and I liked them. And now it's one of my favorite places for meatballs. So that you can create your own event. And the realtor I knew and the insurance agent I knew, different parts of town. One was in the West Valley of Phoenix, one was in the East Valley. And they both just created their own event with other small business owners or Babos, the chain. And they
Mm-hmm.
found the person who was in charge of marketing and business development who got involved. You can always create your own. But Neil, yes, doing an event like that takes a lot of energy.
I
So
did one at
that might
ASU.
not be a thing for you.
I
Energy,
did an event at
energy
ASU.
coordination and money.
Well,
Well,
actually,
not
okay, I did
money
an
if you
event
get
over.
enough partners.
I went to.
I didn't hardly put any money into it. I put in I think we charge everyone $25 to put up their table, and I brought my flyers. It was sweat equity that I put in, not money. Every other vendor paid for their own stuff. Go
Yeah, the other thing too is I put on like a house expo at ASU West Campus, and it was during the Veteran Day weekend, and they always have like a powwow there.
Mm,
And I actually got money from Lennar. I think I got like 10 grand from them to help me with this, Lennar Homes.
wow.
But I had like Lennar, I had other agents, I had title companies, I had home inspectors, I had other new builders there, and it was just a place where people that wanted to buy could talk to different builders, different
Mhm.
agents, different of course I was the only lender, but other people in the mix, you know. And I was surprised. I was surprised I even got the money. I mean, I asked out of the blue, and I didn't even have a business plan for the whole event. Somehow I got it. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I don't know. It
What you just said is key. I just asked.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
99% of the time, whether it's getting business, getting a loan, getting a sponsor for an event, getting an event up and going, you just ask. That's
mm.
where it all starts.
Yeah,
And
I was
that's where the
surprised.
yeses come from.
Yeah.
You won't get a yes if you don't ask. And if you get a no, every no gets you closer to the next yes. And it starts with the ask. So we are at 9:59. I've promised this is only going to be an hour each week. So I'm going to say thank you, thank you, thank you for coming on. Thank you for participating. Next week, I actually have another page of some more co-branded ideas. No, I have two more pages of co-branded ideas. So we will complete co-branded ideas next week, and then we will start going into personality styles of people you may want to work with deeper. Remember,
That's
we touched on that in the beginning, and I said we'll get deeper later on.
for sure.
Hey, just a quick question. Do you guys know anything about this marketing and compliance 101 class that Nexta keeps
You have
flagging me
to do
for?
it
Oh,
once a year. So if you have not done it yet this year, you need to get on it.
Okay. Gotcha.
All right.
good to
See
see
you
you all.
guys. Have a great
Bye.
day.
Don't be talking
Okay.
behind my back, Sam.
And
I
that
hope to
make
see
pro-
you on the mastermind tomorrow.
I will
Okay.
not make promises I cannot keep.
Okay. Bye, you guys.
Bye.
Bye.